Okay, this is Block 8, Pax Americana, Section 1, Post-War America with Julius and Ethel Rosenberg. From 1945 to 1949, the United States was the only country with nuclear weapons, with atomic weapons in its arsenal. However, in 1949, the Soviet Union exploded its first atomic bomb. The Americans could not believe it. They had been led to believe, and the government believed, that the Soviet Union was much further behind the United States than only 4 years of research and development. And so if the Soviet Union was too far behind to make the bomb on their own, obviously they must have had help with which to do it. This was true. Communist spies in Britain and in the United States, including inside the nuclear program itself, Carl Fuchs most famously, had been passing information about how to make an atomic bomb onto Stalin for several years. In the United States, this trail was found, it came from Klaus Fuchs, a nuclear scientist, and the trail led in part back to a pair of progressively minded Jewish Americans, a couple named Julius and Ethel Rosenberg. And Julius and Ethel Rosenberg were arrested on the 1940 Smith Act, the Espionage Act, and they were accused of sending nuclear secrets to the Soviet Union. They were accused pretty much of being communist spies. This was a sensational trial, just like the trial of Hiss. It divides the country. On one hand, progressives say that the Rosenbergs are innocent, that the Rosenbergs are being set up by this communist witch hunt, that any progressive people, Jews especially, are targets for anti-communists who are just going ape crazy, chasing down anyone whose political views don't agree with theirs. However, in 1951, they were both found guilty of espionage. The evidence against Julius was strong. The evidence against his wife Ethel was weaker. But over the protest of the progressive community in the United States and over the protest of the progressive community around the world, the two of them were executed in 1953 by electric chair. They were the only people ever executed in peacetime due to the 1940 Smith Anti-Espionage Act. They had 2 children who kind of garnered them sympathy, and many Americans were turned off by the anti-communist crusaders due to the prosecution of the Rosenbergs and kind of the sad fact that their children were now orphans. It turned a lot of them, not most, but it turned many Americans away from anti-communism. Now, after the Soviet Union fell in 1991 and their archives were opened, it became clear, without a shadow of a doubt, that both Rosenbergs were in fact Soviet spies. They were passing information onto the Soviet Union, as was Alger Hiss. Whether that made them whether that made them earn the electric chair is something else we can debate, but in the 1990s the debate was put to rest. Julius and Ethel Rosenberg and Alger Hiss, the 3 of them were indeed spies for the Communist Party and the Soviet Union. But it's another one of those things that divides progressive America from the rest of anti-communist America.